Hello, I'm Robin Henning, and welcome to another Exchange Life Nugget of Truth. I have been sharing with you some of my personal journey as I'm processing this transition to Greenwood, South Carolina. And right after my last blog, where I was talking with you all about Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, and trusting the Lord, and it's all really good stuff the Lord had been speaking into me, I fell into this funk of what I thought was grief, but it turned out to be more fear than grief. I found myself grumbling and complaining to the Lord about relocating to a foreign land and a foreign culture with no support system, nobody there that I really knew that really cared and I could rely on. There were a lot of negative thoughts filling up my headspace. And my colleague Donnie had asked me what I was afraid of, and I told him I'm not feeling fear, I'm feeling grief. And by the way, this whole idea is just cray-cray. It's crazy to me. Totally crazy. I couldn't make any sense out of making this move. And beloved, that right there is pride. I don't have to make sense of what God tells me to do. I just need to do it. But I was trying to fit it into the Robin understanding realm of how it could possibly make any sense. And then this past Sunday, I went to early service, and that hasn't happened in a while since I don't teach in person anymore. I go to second service. But the Lord got me up and got me to first service. And Pastor Chris had been talking about horses. Now, that's funny because he doesn't know anything about horses. And, he used a horse illustration that resonated with me. And it was something the Lord would go on and use later in that day. And I had gotten pretty tired of being cranky. And so I went to the Lord, and before I even got the question out, he answered it. He basically said, "Robin, you don't trust me." I'm like, "What?" "Oh, okay, if I'm not trusting you, that means I'm believing a lie." So, "Lord, what lie am I believing?" And he said, "You believe I'm going to forsake you." I'm like, "Really? Lord, where is that coming from?" And he took me to a childhood memory that was terrifying to me as a child, but it has become a source of great laughter amongst our family when we retell it. But we're retelling it as adults, not as from the child's perspective. So, and this memory is clear as day, and he walked me through that memory, and I'll try to tell it as quickly as possible. I grew up with thoroughbred racehorses. My dad was a professional trainer for many years, and we were up as a family, and along with the owners of the horse, we were running a horse in upstate Pennsylvania, up in the Poconos, and it was nighttime racing. It was a late race. The horse had won the race. His name was With Great Pride. Great horse. Loved the horse. He was a good horse. And when you win a race, there's a euphoria, and you want to celebrate. You've got the owner and his wife with you, so if you're my dad, you're gonna want to eat. So we're driving back. We're in the station wagon. It's my dad, the owner. I'll leave his name out. His wife in the back seat with my mom, and my sister and I. We're little, okay, 5 or 6 years old. We're in our jammies already, asleep in the back of the station wagon. So they pull over to a 24-hour diner, and there's the discussion of, do we leave the kids here or do we take them in? My mom's like, we need to take them in. My dad's like, they'll be fine. Leave them in the car. They'll be fine. They're sleeping. That was the wrong choice. So at some point while they're in there eating, and I'm sure the diner was visible, but we're 5 and 6 years old. We don't understand what's going on. My sister wakes me up, says, "Mom and Dad have left us." AKA, Mom and Dad have abandoned us. We don't know where we are. We're disoriented. We don't know what's going on. All we know is we're in the car alone. And the fear and the terror of the idea of we've been abandoned hits full force. In my sister's case, at that age, she was known for one thing, and that she could puke at will. When she would get upset, she would puke. So she proceeds to climb into the front seat and pukes in the passenger side front seat. I had to pee, so I void my water in the back seat somewhere. She, at least I think, opened the door and peed outside. But Mom and Dad and the couple come back, and Unfortunately, we were like, okay, they're back. We're quiet. This is not good. The owner guy sits in the seat without looking, sits right in the puke. I think the rest were warned off and they realized I had peed, but they didn't sit in. I don't remember exactly. I just remember the terror and a quiet ride home the rest of the way. But when we tell that story as a family, oh my word, there's tears of laughter. But to a child who has no logical capacity, at that point, the brain development can't put A plus B equals C together, isn't able to understand the situation. The only thing that I thought was mom and dad have left. They've forsaken me. Okay, now let's take that. My dad has forsaken me. The enemy grabbed hold of that latent fear, that tentacle of fear that I hadn't uprooted yet, and said, you know what, your Heavenly Father's going to take you there and leave you, and He's going to forsake you. You're not going to have any support. You're not going to have any of your friends. You're going to a foreign land down under, and you're not going to have anybody there when you need them. And as I went through the process of forgiving my parents for making that choice and getting uprooted that fear of abandonment and confessing that I had projected that onto God the Father, and process through that, the forgive, the exchange, the declaration of unpartnering with that fear and repartnering with the faith, was very relieving and very fulfilling for me. And as God pointed out to me, that the support system that I have up here in Pennsylvania was provided by Him. He's going to provide me a support system down in Greenwood as well. He's already started to build one there for me, and I'm grateful for it. I have been praying that the Lord plants a Costco in Greenwood, because the only nearest Costco is only an hour away. I still cannot wrap my brain around that. They seriously, when they say it's only an hour away, what's your problem? I'm like, it's only an hour away. It's an hour and 2 to get there. Anyway, still praying. Join me in praying that the Lord plants a Costco in Greenwood, and then followed quickly by a Texas Roadhouse. But anyway, later on, the Lord pointed something else out to me, that He takes me back to the sermon illustration with the horse. And having grown up with horses, obviously, it resonates with me. And so Chris was teaching on Adonai, the Lord and Master concept of His identity, and how the master and the horse relate to one another. That master's always there to take care of the horse, always functioning in the best interest of the horse. The horse has to learn to trust him. And that this time that I'm in right now, the Lord has told me, I am leading you from one pasture to another. There's a woods in between. It's a little bit spooky. It's a little bit scary. There's a lot of uncertainty. But He's with me. And He is working out the sale of the property. We're not there yet, but we're getting real close to having the house cleaned out, ready to show, ready to put on the market. And that's a bit of an uncertain time. There's some things that may be coming together for housing down there, but again, a lot of uncertainty. I don't know the when. Everybody asks me, when are you moving? I don't know. Soon. In the next few months, I think. But I'm not certain on the date. But he took me back to that illustration of the horse, that He's moving me from one pasture to the other. All my horse buddies are back here in the other pasture. We're walking through the woods. It's going to open up into a clearing. I'm going to see and understand everything shortly. The pasture He's taking me to is green, is lush, is huge. There's going to be a greater degree of influence. And there's going to be some cool horses there that I'm going to like, I'm going to enjoy, I'm going to have relationships with, and it's going to be bigger and better than I could ever imagine. So that's what He's been speaking into me. I hope this illustration, this personal testimony helps you. I can't argue with what He's been speaking. I don't want to. I hope this maybe helps somebody overcome their struggle with fear and unbelief. There's always a connection between that. If you're giving into a spirit of fear, no matter what the object of the fear is, there's some sort of connection there that you're not believing God and taking Him at His word. There's going to be a lie embedded in that where the enemy has lied against the counsel or the character is what I mean, the character of God. Ask him to show you what that lie is. Renounce it. Ask him to speak truth into that lie. Receive that truth. Unpartner with a lie. Choose to partner by faith with the truth and walk on with him. We indeed are very safe with the Lord Jesus Christ. Our security is in him. He's always leading us to bigger and better things. He always trades up. He always exchanges up. And I know where he's leading me. There's going to be lots and lots of blessings and good things ahead. So thank you for your prayers. Please keep praying for me as we work toward this transition. I will do my best to update people on a regular basis. And I just covet your prayers, and I appreciate all the good words and encouragement that I've been receiving. So may this encourage you. May you have a blessed week in Jesus. We'll see you next time.